What's up, everybody? It is Ulfhednar once again back at it. Today we're gonna talk about, or I will show you how to build against lost type of mobs. DPS build for mutations for dungeons, even open world for the future. But pretty much straight to the business. These are my attributes. I am running the lowest gun as possible, which is 5 for highest damage, but that is because I'm running with a stable group with pre-made pretty much that they know what to do. We're used to each other, how the tank pulls, how to position ourselves as well. You gotta even know how the mobs attacks, stuff like that, how to position yourself from those attacks, what to expect as well once you dive in. So 300 strength for that active grade. Also, it's the main stat for Hatchet. 200 dexterity for that bonus backstab, but with randoms and just overall, I recommend up to 100 constitution, especially once again with randoms, because I know random lobbies can be pretty brutal. So in that scenario, it depends. If you're fighting strikes on the hatchet, you should go with 300, but if you don't, probably taking points from strength, because this is very powerful, as you will be hitting, or you should be hitting always the mobs to activate backstab, as well as the bosses, but some bosses are not possible. But lost barnacles, that's pretty much fine. Weapon masteries, this is what I'm rocking with. This is pretty much my stable build for every mutation. I'm running aim and throw because it can come in handy. I sometimes don't use this one, just use block instead to reset my light attack, or just cancel my attack if I know I will not, land a shot or get punished for it. But you can probably take these 2 points and put it into Raging Torrent for more damage, but I kind of like running throw. The damage is not too bad. 20% more damage for an active debuff on the target. Now there will always be a debuff on the target, either from you, which should perforate spear, or your teammates. Also really like the stamina on hit on crit. This also applies mainly from the bag because that's a guaranteed crit, so you'll always get the stamina on the hit. With spear, we're rocking with this. Like I mentioned in my previous build, you could probably get rid of this perk, put it somewhere else. Stamina regen, crit, whatever you feel like. Fortify here, or even light attacks for the crit chance. Not really needed. I mean, for the cooldown here. That's what I mean. But this is pretty much the standard. You should always, if possible, keep sweep for gravity well and shockwave to synergize with your teammates, or you want to use sweep into perforate because when you use perforate, you're locked animation. You can get punished for it. You can just die while doing this animation. So preventing from mobs hitting you, you can always do sweep into perforate. Easy peasy. Start with skeever, sweep, perforate. There's more ways how to play spear as in the rotation. I'll show that in a second. When it comes to gear, there is a named gear that drops straight from barnacles and is absolute best in slot. But if you don't have that, I have 4 pieces. You can just have a simple 2 perk, which is a ward, a lost ward, and the second perk being a weapon perk. Now I am missing perforate, which I probably would like to get on pants instead of shuriken energy. But the energy shuriken isn't too bad either. It's stamina on the roll dodge. We will be roll dodging quite a lot. If not for the rotation, just avoid CC as well, incoming CC or hits from the mobs. So perforate here would be viable. Skeever we got on the spear. We don't really need anything for hatchet. Maybe King Berserk could come in handy. But again, we're gonna hit the targets in the back mostly, so that's not that much needed. Your number 2 perk besides ward and weapon perk should be refreshing or refreshing evasion. It's up to, I just like refreshing itself more. And the third perk, like on these pieces, you could have physical aversion or elemental aversion for those mages, archers, and just elemental damage. It is really up to you. But once again, you don't need to absolutely have this abyss. But this is a drop from a dungeon, so why not? Most dungeons these days have like specific war drops, almost all of them, in that given dungeon, like here or any yet, and they are just insane. They are just best in slot. Now, the gems, it depends again, what is the suffix of the mutations for the week, for the reset, rotation, pardon, apologize. I was doing void. I don't know how long that was ago. Now with that, I do have Void Protection Amulet with health. And Perforate makes it base amulet, but you're just fine with health and Void Protection or just any protection. I here have Flame Protection as an example. So you're fine with that. This ring drops in Starstone. But if you cannot get this one, just get Slash Damage Hardy, 2 perker, more than enough. You probably don't even need Hardy actually, because we have 2 150 decks, over 150 decks, so you could get like Slash Leeching or Slash Keen. It's really up to you. When it comes to Earring, I really like the 2 combination, Refreshing and Purifying Toast. You could once again third perk, get the Refreshing. That Nimble is not really needed, that's useless. I just got it as a drop from, what was that? Depths, the mutation. Or you could get, if your tank is struggling with aggro, you could get the aggro reduction, threat reduction. When it comes to weapons, Hatchet, Refreshing Torrent and Bane is an absolute must-2 perker in my opinion. And the third one would be Vicious or Rogue. I don't have it, I have Keen, I would need to replace it. Because this Hatchet is basically 2 perker, which is, not the best. Rogue Vicious does a lot. So with Refreshing Torrent on weapon, if you have 3 or more targets, that skill, Raging Torrent, can have 0 cooldown, which makes it absolutely crazy for DPS. For Spear, best combination, you can get 2 perker as well, Lost Bane, a Skewer. You don't need anything else, because we use Spear for the debuffs, basically buffs as well if you have Fortify Perforate, and then CC2 with Sweep. So just Skewer for the weekend is almost a full cap. If you have a team member in the group who uses Maelstrom from Great Axe, with the perk that also applies weekend, that's just best synergy. For Heartrunes, there is only really one option, the Brittle Heartrune, which is the highest damage explosion. You could potentially go in with the second one called Bile Bomb. This one reduces healing. So basically there is an affix in said suffix before. That's BS. It doesn't make sense. Affix. There's an affix, nature affix, where some of the mobs have are called compos under their names. That means if you kill them, they drop AoE that heals the other mobs. So healing reduction really helps in this situation. Consumables, he won Coding, tier 5 at best. More damage. Honing Stone as well, tier 5. Weapon damage increase. Attributes, this one is the cheapest, so that's amazing. The Full Harvest Turkey. Potions, normal, and regen as well. You could also go with Gemstone against magic attacks or Oak Flesh. If you're struggling, it's up to you. If you're rich, if you're a crafter, gatherer, you can craft them easily. And then you can also use Angry, or like, sorry, not Angry Earth, but any Ward Potion that you want. In this scenario, we would use Lost. If it's Barnacles, like Angry Earth Ward Potion, that's why I have it in my backpack. Comes in handy too, because that boss is pretty rough. If you're not used to her attacks, or struggling to avoid her little wind whirls that apply wind on you. You want to avoid those, by the way. Now when it comes to gems, I forgot about in my last video to mention the gems on weapons, but we want nature gems here because they are up to 30%. They are 30% damage to lost type of mobs. On the last mob, you need ice gems for some reason. It's just how they did it. It's an Angry Earth mob, but you deal more damage to the boss by 30% the frost. But that's besides the point. This is lost, alright? This is just lost. So nature damage, nature gems it is. When it comes to rotation, you always want to start with Spear. And what I like to do is Skewer onto Sweep and Birthright, because by the time I apply Sweep, there is a Grab Well from my teammate or a Shockwave from a tank if he plays it, or the other DPS. But you could also start with Sweep into Perforate and then Skewer, so really it's really up to you. From that, you go to Hatchet with Weapon Swap Animation Cancel Berserk into a Raging Torrent or Light Attack, it's up to you. So we go like this. I just messed up, but whatever. I was too quick on the weapon swap. Running throw as well to apply that rend. Roll dodge if you want to, if you want. If you can, I mean. The force attack of the Hatchet, I'm not a big fan of because it takes like a bit too long. And sometimes you can get punished for it. You can get, killed, take a hit for it. And you can one-tap you. But if you know you're out of clear, you can just keep spamming force attack. Sometimes like to just reset the triple attack with running throw or triple attack with Raging Torrent. And that's pretty much it. I will have a video in the right upper corner right here how to animation against the Berserk. There are more ways to do it, either with a ability or with an attack, light attack like this. Or you can do it from weapon swap too, or if you're a CC. These are like the 3 ways how to cancel animation Berserk in my opinion. But you can check it out in the video in the upper corner. If I missed anything, let me know down below in the description. There is quite a lot of stuff to talk about. And yes, I'm like 3 minutes earlier than my last video. I always wanted to make these as short as possible because they can get quite long. There's a lot to talk about, but I believe we did cover everything. Thank you all for watching. Also, another thing, lastly, is the lasting consumption perk on the bags. It's really handy. It saves you so much gold because it makes your food above honing stone and war potions last longer. They all stack at 16%. And there is a turkey trophy from the last event in November, I believe it was. That one gives your food buff 25% more, so that's almost 2 hours from the food buff, which is just crazy. And then honing stone itself as well. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy. Get after it, setup. It's really coming. It really pays off. Imitation saves you time, stress, struggle as well most of the time. But yeah, enjoy and see you on the next one.